That is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp. He is in with us today. We're going to talk football both on the field and off the field. But, okay, reacting to what we just saw there, Warren, especially the NCAA, I mean, these kind of scandals, okay, we probably confirms what we all sort of knew. But when you see stuff like that, what do you think?
Why don't we just pay the players and then we can get rid of all of this foolishness of the backdoor deals and everything like that? Let's just put the money on the table, play the players, and let's move on, because it's big time. There's too much money in there to be worried about. What was it, $100,000 we talking about? That's petty change.
That was in the Louisville case. And by the way, Rick Pitino again saying he has no knowledge.
Oh, absolutely no knowledge.
Do you believe that a head coach could have no knowledge now that there's been multiple scandals there?
It's called plausible deniability. You have certain people within your organization that do certain things and you don't cross paths with them. I'm sure that's the way it is. That's why you don't know what they're doing, because they're specifically put there to do that, and you don't cross that line.
Is this the fall guy?
Oh, it's always somebody that has to, you know, it stopped somewhere. Somebody wrote a check, somebody passed some money, so somebody's definitely getting locked up for this one.
Yeah,
this ain't a good one.
We're going to wait and see. I mean, of course, this is still going to keep unfolding, I'm sure, as the day continues. We said we'd talk football, so let's talk about it. The biggest news in the NFL is President Trump's comments, of course, from Friday. If you were still playing on Sunday, what do you think you would have done?
That one was a tough one for me, and I even text Brooks. I was like, Derek, what would we have done? Because the one thing, I just remember me and him standing there for 8-9 years together, every Sunday. I mean, no matter where it was, and he hit me back, and he was like, the one thing we would have did, we would have communicated. We'd have got everybody in the room, and we'd have had something we would have all done, and we would have all been a part of. But to say nothing, no, that definitely wouldn't have been something that would have went down on my watch. But we'd have definitely made sure everybody was included in the decision. Everybody voiced what we wanted to do as players, because owners and coaches are owners and coaches. We're going to do this as a group because nobody's between the lines but us. And we got to handle this. So we're going to handle this situation as best we can for our locker room.
What were your reactions to his comments specifically?
That ain't the worst thing that man said. I mean, I've been on my stoop box yelling and screaming since he walked down the escalator and said that Mexicans are rapists. I mean, are you kidding me? There's no way you start a campaign that way and say what he said in the middle of Alabama. And I mean, it just keeps coming. It don't stop. I mean, then now he's telling the owners to have a plantation mentality that now you got to implement a rule that you're not allowed to protest in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Are you kidding me? Protest's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you stand up and look and pay attention to what he's talking about. But now they want to flip it and talk about the flag. It's not about the flag. It never was about the flag. So let's just go back to what my man Colin was talking about. And he did that when Obama was in the chair. So it has nothing to do with Trump. He just interjected himself in everything that looks like a fight because he loves to fight.
You mentioned it's about the players. It's not about the owners and the general managers. Do you feel like they were being genuine in their support, or do you think now they're just going to go back to, I don't know, contributing to Trump's campaign, not signing Colin Kaepernick?
You know what? The thing somebody hit me with was there was 12 owners or something that made a statement, and someone said if they don't sign this man this week, all those are void statements and empty rhetoric. I've always said this in a football environment: your talent and the trash you bring when it meets, you're out of there. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And you have to know your value to the ball club, know your value to yourself and your family. And Colin stepped out and he took a chance. Mm-hmm. And when you take a chance like that, sometimes backlash comes at you. Like the president made a statement, backlash come back at him. It happens. So you have to know where your position is on a football team and the statements you want to make and how you want to make statements. I applaud the brother. He did a beautiful thing because there's been injustice forever and a day. I mean, you're not finna argue with me that Tamir Rice didn't deserve to die as a 12-year-old kid with a toy gun in 1.2 seconds. That's a joke. And the cop put on his application, I'm here for action. Now, how does this fall through the cracks? I mean, we talking about extreme vetting. Let's do it then. Let's do it for everybody then. Let's go across the board. No problem.
It's very clear where you stand on this. Now, I saw a picture of you on Twitter with a Make America Great Again hat in Miami colors. What were you trying to say with that? That
wasn't Miami colors. That was actually a camo. And you didn't read the thing underneath? Or you wanted, like these new generation kids, you just look at the picture?
No, I read underneath.
And it said what?
It said it's your spot in the...
It's your watch.
Your watch now, Mr. 45.
Your watch, Mr. 45. Yeah. I mean, you have to be optimistic that this blowhard was going to walk in and actually say, all right, let me calm down the rhetoric. I am the president of the United States, the most powerful land on earth. Let me see if I can work with whoever I need to work with to get something done. You're talking about 4% GDP and all this. You can't do this running around with chaos everywhere. That ain't how this country works. That ain't how any business works. If any CEO did any of these things he did, he'd be out the door on his neck. And I want to imagine all these people that, oh, you guys are crazy, you snowflake liberal. I'm like, I'm a liberal snowflake? I'd really like for you to say that to my face.
I wouldn't say
no, I'm just sitting here saying, like, that's what people say. You're a liberal snowflake. I'm a liberal snowflake. In what world, in a powerful imagination, could Barack Obama have said any of that and have been a community organizer, as they like to call it, right? If he'd have said any of that, you wouldn't allow him around your children. You wouldn't allow him around anybody, right? Just what imagination would this man be able to say these things like this and continue to say them? Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you just made me think of something. You didn't have social media when you played. Has anyone ever tried to troll you to your face?
No. We call them keyboard gangsters.
Okay, well, one person also making comments it was President Trump. He was talking about calling football players SOBs, of course. But another thing that sort of got lost in those comments was this one.
Because, you know, today if you hit too hard, right, they hit too hard, 15 yards, throw him out of the game. They had that last week. I watched for a couple of minutes, and two guys just really beautiful tackle. Boom, 15 yards. The referee gets on television. His wife is sitting at home. She's so proud of him. They're ruining the game, right? They're ruining the game.
Okay, ruining the game. He's talking about the NFL being too soft, essentially, is what he's saying there. What are your thoughts on that?
That's another one of those alt facts, fake news that he likes to talk about coming out of his own mouth, because the last time I checked, he would have to be talking about a college football game where someone's getting ejected for a hit. It's called targeting. Mm-hmm. So if he was watching college football thinking that was the NFL, that's another problem we have. I mean, the man can't watch something and then turn around and then tell you what he was watching, because when the last time you seen an NFL player thrown out of the game for a hit?
He said just 15-yard flag.
No, you're out of the game.
Yeah.
That's college. That's targeting.
He doesn't know what he's
I was watching that Saturday afternoon, too, when the kid hit him in the Michigan game with his shoulder, hit 82. I was watching that game, too. I understand what he's talking about, but you can't cross it over into something that doesn't make sense to someone who's coherent in what you're talking about. They don't throw people out of the NFL. We don't do chop blocks anymore. You're not allowed to hit a defenseless receiver anymore. We've made the adjustments in our game to make it better. We don't go for a month and do 2-a-days and 3-a-days, Ray Perkins. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where we're changing our game, and the thing we want to do is eliminate it for 14 and under. Let's let them play tennis. That's why there's only one Venus and Serena, because those were the only ones exposed to that. And Richard Wood say, I'm going to expose my girls to something different. Mm-hmm. So let's expose our boys to something different. Chess players, the boys in Brooklyn that played chess and won the championship, let's expose our children to something other than just football and hitting. And you saw that man put his two fists together? That's like two helmets coming together. Does he not know what he's talking? Two beautiful hits. That ain't beautiful. Yeah. There's nothing beautiful about two people colliding like that.
We know the science now, too, right? I mean, that's part of it.
And he ran the USFL into the ground.
Yeah. Okay, but as someone who now is dealing with some of the after effects of this incredible career that you did have in the NFL, I mean, you see the president saying this, knocking together. I mean, you know now, you said in your Players Tribune piece, we used to lead with the head. Now you're finding that you can't remember certain things. You've said in this piece that you're scared. I mean, this is someone who's saying something like that. How does it make you feel?
He's uninformed. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with the Concussion Legacy Foundation and the veterans, to bring awareness, to get better diagnosis, to get better treatments. Because when the leader of the free world can sit up there and spew that garbage and not know what he's talking about, it don't even correlate with the words that are coming out of your mouth. That's not the NFL. That's college, because we want to protect our children. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to do, is protect our children. When you're talking about a grown man that's in a professional sport that he is excellently skilled at, now you as the players have to be able to take care of each other, because that's the one thing me and Brooks always talked about, man. We got to take care of each other. Now we check on each other. You know, we didn't check on Cortez, God bless his soul, he's gone. But now we're checking on each other, and it's an awareness in a community of a brotherhood of men that we must get. This is about us, fellas. And if we don't take care of each other, then who in the hell will?
You talk about, you know, youth participation and maybe playing different sports. It's interesting because football's given a lot to you. Obviously, you're in the Hall of Fame, won a Super Bowl. Would you do it all over again?
I didn't play when I was 5, 6 years old. My mom protected me because my 3 older brothers were running backs. So she understood what they went through, and I was the baby boy. So, you know, you protect your baby. I didn't play until I got to high school. And I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer, the 5th one ever. So trust me, this program works. You don't have to play football and carry your helmet 5, 6. When I go to the Hall of Fame and I sit with Jim Brown and, you know, all the great ones, Joe Green, we don't talk about 10-year-old championships and Pop Warner. We don't talk about that. We talk about college, you know, college, what's your college doing, my college, your team, my team, championships and different stuff like that. We're not talking about 11-year-old championships. I won't call him an idiot, but I won't call him an idiot. The coach that goes to his office and puts that trophy up on his office and brags about the kids with a 10-year-old Super Bowl and whatever, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Is that the satisfaction in which you want? Are you kidding me? There's so much more we can do with our children.
There's something, though, that made you want to donate your brain to science. What specifically was it?
It was a letter that was sent out by one of the former players, and I looked at a whole list of the management, Roger Goodell, and specific owners making comments about CTE not being what it is and the same dangers you have of sitting on your couch. I was like, you don't know what my couch looks like now? There's 2 layers of security before you get there. My mom's couch in the country, I wasn't in a place where they were shooting, but, you know, a little bit of danger. But you're telling me sitting on my couch is the same dangers of playing the game? That's not something we can stand on. That's not something. It sounds like big tobacco saying that there's no link. Doesn't it?
Do you think the league is doing enough now?
We've seen this play.
Do you think the league is doing enough now as far as awareness?
We're taking steps. And that's why I'm here, and that's why we're going to continue to do what we're doing on a day in, day out basis, because this isn't something that we have to hide from. This is something that we have to combat.
Do you feel like when you were playing, was the league, were team doctors, do you think they were upfront?
I got one for you.
Do you think they were upfront with you about the risk you were taking?
My 13 years in the National Football League, the head of the concussion board was a rheumatologist. And he got his degree from Guadalajara. From 95 to 2008, 13 years was covered underneath this man. He wrote in a medical journal that back-to-back concussions don't have no lasting effect. You can have a concussion early in that day and return to action later on in that day and have no effects. He wrote this in a medical journal. What?
Meanwhile,
yeah, and I'm underneath this man. And that's who's going to diagnose me with how many fingers I got up and your teammates next to you tapping you twice.
Sure.
Come on. What day of the week is it? 2 taps is Monday, 1 tap is Sunday. We didn't play that many Thursday games back in the day.
You know, it's interesting. You just talked to Bennett Amalu, who is obviously one of the doctors who was instrumental in debunking a lot of that bad science. Actually, let's play a clip of that.
It makes you more likely to engage in violent behavior, in irrational behavior, in criminal behavior, and sometimes even narcissistic behavior. It increases your risk of suffering major depression, major psychiatric disorders, and suicide, about 2 to 4 times fold.
Now, you've admitted to some violence in your past. When you hear Dr. Amalu, what do you think?
I've admitted. Yeah. Well, the thing about it is you get put in certain situations, and the game you play shouldn't aid to you being on the wrong side of the law. And if we can find better treatment, better diagnosis, that's what I'm here for. You know, to aid the generation, because I've always said I wanted to leave the game in better shape than when I got in it. And this is my chance to leave the game in better shape.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, you know, you played with a mean streak, too.
No, I played with a fun-loving attitude. I don't understand this means.
I read that wrong.
I always said I had a game that your grandma could love. I always had a smile on my face unless we were losing, and then it was one of those things of, well, what went wrong this Sunday? Other than that, I mean, I never played the game to maim anybody. I danced on Sundays.
I guess I was wondering, you know, hearing Dr. Amalu say, you know, all these tendencies that could lead to, I mean, these are some of the tendencies in terms of being tough and being mean that are celebrated when you play football in some cases. I'm curious, do you feel like, you know, that could have led to maybe bad tendencies when you get out of the game and get away from the game?
Well, I don't. The attitude of a person should be formed way long time ago. And then your love for your parents and your kids and your wife and different things like that. But there's different situations that everybody get into. But the magnifying of being in the National Football League, because when you look at a domestic violence across a whole in the country, I think I saw something that like 4 women a day die from it or something like that. It's crazy numbers when you talk about, but you put it in these tents. But the thing is, let's just see if we can work on getting better treatments, better diagnosis, so we can diagnose what it is. Because for so long, the people that have been involved in it have denied that it was even a causality between the two. And that's crazy.
Speaking to that, you're obviously very passionate about this. One, what was your reaction to the Aaron Hernandez diagnosis?
Oh, it was sad, but it also answered some questions too. Because, I mean, stage 3, he wasn't even 30.
23 was his last NFL game.
But if you watch him play the game, he was one of those guys that would use his head. He was a headbanger. He would crack and use his head. He led with his head. He was one of those guys. So that's what's going to be the effect of that when you do it that way. And you just have to be brighter when you're playing the game. Take care of yourself and take care of the people around you.
And secondly, the latest news says that they may be developing a technique to discover CTE and other head trauma-related injuries before death.
Hey.
How big a difference do you think that would make if players and people could get tested while they're still alive?
Then you can have something the way you can get some treatments and maybe slow it down, because I know there's no cure for it, but maybe you can just slow it down and slow the effects. But now it's something that you know you have. If you can be diagnosed with it, because before cancer was a death sentence, HIV was a death sentence, but now we can be able to get treatments and medicines to it, the way now people live pretty healthy lives with some deadly diseases that used to take you off the face of the earth. And that's what we were looking for, is better treatment, better diagnosis.
You don't think we'll see more early retirements?
There's a chance of it, because once you get one of those nasty, because I remember Bert Emanuel getting hit, and we were horrible to Bert. I mean, he had glasses on, and we do the cane thing like a blind. I mean, I think about it, and it was horrible we did him like that. But we didn't know any better. I mean, our teammate was walking around really hurting. I mean, he glasses, slow walking. He was saying noises, everything. I mean, oh, God. That was bad. We were bad. We were dinosaurs. We were bad.
You look at now ways that you're trying to help people, and starting today, you're watching us here on Facebook Live. We are live. There is a great conference that's happening, a summit right now in Washington, D.C. It's called Igniting the Spark, the 2nd annual Cohen Veterans Care Summit, literally taking place today at the Ronald Reagan building in Washington, D.C. up until about noon. Why did you want to get involved with this particular cause?
Those are the real heroes. When I hear football players talking about, oh, we warriors, no, we're not. We're entertainers. Playing a kid's game, getting the king's ransom, and we're supposed to be entertaining on Sunday, because when we go on a road trip, no matter if the kicker misses a chip shot 32-yard field goal, he's getting on the plane going home. These are the real heroes. When they go on a road trip, not everybody comes home. Not everybody comes home. So when you're talking about helping our soldiers and helping my fellow just bring awareness to it, come on, that's a no-brainer for me.
Going back to the protests off that, many players have been very clear that they are fully supportive of the military, and they are not in any way
protesting. It's never been about that.
Does that what makes you extra upset, considering you're working for this cause?
Never been about that, because that's when someone wants to spin it and tell you something and then do a bunch of memes and bullet points and talking points that draw away from what we're talking about. Nothing to do with the real heroes in this country. I salute them for their service every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Are you kidding me? Stand a post. That's the rule. If you got something to say about them, go stand a post and pick up a gun.
Again, we should say Igniting the Spark, the 2nd annual Cohen Veterans Care Summit. It's free. It's taking place right now in Washington, D.C. Lots of talks, speakers talking about head trauma, the future. You can go check it out online. They have all of the details there, literally happening right now. Warren, I bet people are just watching us right now. They're probably screaming that we have not talked about the University of Miami yet. They're like, when are they going to get to it? We're going to get to it right now. October 12th, you're going to be inducted in Miami's Ring of Honor. This is happening?
14th.
14th, pardon me.
Yeah, they moved it. They moved the game. I wish it was on Thursday, because they killed the beautiful weekend, but hey, we got to do Saturday now. So no.
Okay. This is the group you're going to be inducted into. This is Michael Irving, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, and of course, the late Sean Taylor. Can you tell us what's a favorite story you have that includes at least one other member of this group that's going to be inducted?
Well, I got to go back what started it all, and that's the playmaker, Michael Irving. And luckily or unfortunately, my freshman year, I'm staying in 36U. which doesn't exist anymore, but 36U. And the phone numbers never changed in these rooms. And it was 305-284-4473. So one day we're in there, like the second day we're in there, the phone rings. I pick it up. Yeah, who this? I'm like, what? Who is this? I said, who? I said, dog, you call this phone. You got no time to say who you are. I'm going to hang this phone up. It's Michael Irvin. I said, what's up, baby? This Warren Sapp. So he's like, oh, you in my room? Who in there? I said, me, Ryan Collins, Simonette, and Robert Wooders, God bless his soul. He died in the value jet crash. So I'm like, so we sitting there having a conversation. I'm like, they're like, Sapp, what you talking? I'm like, it's Michael Irvin, the playmaker. So I'm sitting there over the conversation with Mike. He's like, you hold up that tradition. I'm like, don't worry about it. 12-0, baby. Hung up the phone. Ray Lewis, his first start was the Colorado game that we had the big fight out there in Boulder. He walks in front of the huddle the first week because our middle linebacker had got hurt. And Ray Lewis gets in front of the huddle, and our defensive call was Canes 2 almost all the time. Canes 2, swarm. He gets in front of the huddle, and this is a 17-year-old kid from Lakeland, Florida, Polk County, Florida. Half broke the huddle. I looked, I said, yo, get your back in front of this huddle and call it like a man and let's go play some football. He looked at me, I said, that's right. You in front of the huddle, son. It's time for you to grow up. He looked at me and said, Canes 2, ready, swarm. He had 20 tackles and an interception, and the rest is history.
One more story. Now, you mentioned you didn't play football until high school. No,
yes,
this is,
what
is your favorite story or memory in youth sports outside of football?
Just playing in the field with my boys. I mean, because we played till the sun go down. I mean, just get us a ball in a field, and we call it the Dust Bowl. We rile that thing up and have a big dust bowl around it. And people be driving by, like, what? We gonna play it till the sun go down. That's how we did it in my town.
That's fantastic. Again, we should say Warren Sapp, the Hall of Famer, here on behalf of Igniting the Spark, the second annual Cohen Veterans Care Summit. It's part of the Cohen Veterans Bioscience, CVB, if you want to look that up. Also, you can find plenty of information there. Warren Sapp, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you, and congratulations on all this good work that you're doing trying to get care and help for veterans and people who need it most. Thank you.
Thank you.